Kia ora, dear listener or viewer. Welcome to Zealand. Now, Zealand is set in a post-apocalyptic world, so it goes without saying that we will be exploring some of the darker natures of humanity. So if you're squeamish or the idea unsettles you, take your chance now to walk away. For now, we return to Zealand.
Kia ora, guys, gals, and legionnaires. Rycon here. Welcome back to Zealand. This is Chapter 6, Part 4. Misty Frequencies. We find us... Oh, God damn it. Alright, okay, before I get a DMCA takedown, cut it off. Okay, yeah, so there you go. For anyone that's a Kiwi, you might have got the reference to the song Misty Frequencies. There you go. Well done. I was so confused. I was like, what? So, our survivors, all 18 of them, everyone from the reserve, bar Mikhail and Ismail, are now on a boat. A blackened ship that is traveling speedily across the waves with no external lights on, only just this dull red light that illuminates the area. Everyone wearing these goggles across their face and these all-encompassing masks that cover your nose and your mouth, and these bags that are zipped up, containing you in this space. You all sit like sardines in a can, lined up next to each other, some of you sitting across from each other in this boat. As it continues racing along, the engine's loud. To hear each other, it's difficult, and most of you stay quiet as the journey continues. Does anyone attempt to say anything? I know you tried last time, Jake, but you didn't get any response, but does everyone stay silent and to themselves? Okay. And the trip continues, heading out towards sea. It was difficult to make out the mainland, but it's drifting away from you now as you continue further out. Looking out around you, you can just make out the waves from the moonlight above, just creating these little highlights along them as you are whisked away, just looking out through the small gap in the canopy that's above the top of you. The boat leaves the reserve behind.
And takes us to Auckland.
You can make out the silhouette of a very large island to the left of you at one point while you're racing along. Some of you recognize it as Little Barrier Island, where you spent a fair bit of time 5 years ago. Continues on towards another landmass that's visible on the horizon. Not reflective like the sea. Again, without lights, this boat navigates close to a set of islands. You can see a cliff face just off towards the side. As eventually, it pulls into a bay, its engine cutting off and slowing. Coming to a stop up against a shoreline. A stony beach. The boat pulls up, stops. Voice that you're getting slightly familiar with, although still difficult to hear through the gas mask. Seems to be familiar. Yeah, familiar enough. Starts to speak. It's dark, but we're gonna light your way. You can take those bags off now. Follow us one by one. Don't leave the line. Stay together and you'll be fine. Alright, with me? And he clicks on a light and starts to light the way back up towards the bow of the boat, where some of the other soldiers start to get off. You never really get a look at any of their weapons. You never really see them. They're always kind of covered by this swath of this ghillie that's all over them. They clamber down and start helping some of you off the boat as you all start to unzip out of these kind of plastic sheets almost. Walking around the edge of the boat carefully and taking your time, all of you slowly make your way off it and onto the stony shore. There are others you can see farther up the shoreline, up in this direction here. You see lights that seem to be coming down and meeting this boat. 3. 1 staying further away, 2 coming down. They meet up. Seems like there's a little bit of a talk that happens. And eventually, you're guided with 3 at the front, 3 at the back, and a long line. They start trying to pull you all together. Everyone keep a hold of the person that's in front of you. If we say stop, we stop. If we say walk, we keep on walking. We stay together, we'll be fine. Everyone stays quiet. Forms into a line.
I'm gonna go stand behind the scope.
Okay, alright. You all start making your way up this stony beach. With light being cast among your feet, you're able to see these stones and place your feet carefully as you walk. You can't see anything up ahead of you, just this one light.
Put my hand on Sculp's shoulder, slowly drifts over to his neck, and I grab it.
I said like I will sing like Johnny Cash.
I'd be sure to be connected
Yeah.
with him as well.
As you say that, effectively what I'm saying is, if I end up in another Eden, I don't care who shoots at me, I'm taking you with me.
I don't even know where the hell we are.
After your little neck massage, you settle yourself again, keep walking. You notice now that there are 2 others that are either side, just kind of moving alongside the rest of your line, as a 3 in front lead and a 3 in the back. Keep everyone moving. Eventually you hear the boat's engine come back to life, and you see the kind of dull red light that's on there just click off entirely, and you hear the engine starting to grow distant as it leaves this place. Eventually the stony shore gives away to more of like a grassy hill, but there's a pathway worn by feet that leads up this hill towards this other light source that's standing up there, that's moving slightly, most likely held by a human. It's a quiet march. Before long, you meet up with this other source of light. Conversations had in front. Who's near the front of this group? Kind of get a sense that it's yourself, maybe Jake.
Yeah. We were
And
first
then-
in, so we were probably at the back.
Yeah.
And then Jen behind me, I guess.
Yeah. Jake and Scott, roll perception for me, please.
Fail.
Fail.
Okay. You hear like a little bit of conversation, but you can't make out what's being said. Once you reach this other light source, you can start to make out a chain link fence that's there as the pool of light starts to collate as some of the others from the outside come around. And you stay in this long line. Conversations had up the front, and a gate is opened up. One of the soldiers at the front stays and just kind of motions forwards as two at the front continue through and turn around expectantly towards you, Scott, and Jake, and Jen. Carry on through.
Yeah.
You're carried on through the gate. One by one, you all kind of step over a slight lip. There's a pole at the bottom, which is attached to the main frame of this chain link fence. Looking along the top, there is what looks to be like razor wire. As your pool of light extends out as you continue to move, you see tents that are set up. White. A little bit more visible now. Start to walk between them. Most of them are kind of sealed shut. And there's a larger one as you part through the middle of two. That's as kind of open. Walked in. As the pool of light extends into the space, you can see a number of chairs in here, just kind of set out in a circle. As you enter, the person who's been leading you says, "Take a seat." One by one, each of you find a space in this space. It's all still very dark. No real light source in here, other than the ones that they carry.
We still got our masks on and everything.
You do. You still have the masks on, but you're outside the bags. But one thing you're able to tell is that they're always very specific about where the light is pointing. It's never kind of going all around. It's always very controlled and placed. Eventually, you all take a seat, sit down, and wait as some of the other soldiers filter in. It's difficult to really differentiate between them, but you know the ones in the ghillie suits are the ones that were with you originally. But there are others more now that don't seem to be in ghillie suits, just in these black BDUs. See a bit of a conversation happening by the entrance to this tent. There is only one at the front. It's decently, sized, decent roof, metal poles in the center, keeping it up. Spacious, grassy floor. Just these kind of plastic chairs that you're sitting on. You can see the guy who's been leading you, talking to another outside of a ghillie suit. Just kind of points through. Points at you. Points at Jake. Points at Scott. Points at Dan, points at Vedant. Nods. Oh, points at Nick as well. Sorry, Nick. He points at Nick as well. Shit, we forgot Nick.
Back on the third floor. Hello?
Kevin, yeah. Now we have the one-shot Home Alone episode with Nick versus a whole heap of zombies. No.
That
All right.
sounds so perfect because Nick is so perfectly suited for it.
Yeah. Okay, so
I didn't see that now.
Eventually, one who's been doing most of the talking so far goes through one by one, just kind of comes quite close towards you, says, please stand up. Goes through to Jake, please stand up. Works his way around, one by one.
Like all. I know I was going to say that. All 18 of us, or just us 6?
No, just the 6 of you.
He knows the PCs.
Where are we going?
To talk. All of you standing, please follow me. We'll be back soon. All hang tight for now. We'll be back soon. 3 of these soldiers stay in this space. Jen kind of looks to you for a second, just kind of grabs your hand and gives you a squeeze.
Yeah, squeeze your hand back slightly, obviously, but
Okay. You don't have a grapple specialization. Critical success. You're slowly led out, the 6 of you, out of this tent towards one of the front 2. Brought in, and kind of like before, there is some plastic seats that are set out. There's 10 in total in here, kind of 5 and 5. There is a kind of table similar to this, a trestle table that's laid out, and there's a number of files kind of stacked up to one side, and a whole heap of stationery on the other. Walks in, looks up, and twists the torch, extends it out. You see it just kind of this long strip of light inside. He just hangs it up on the center of the tent. This one, not quite as tall as the other one, slightly smaller. And there is an ambient light illuminating the space. He sits down, still like gas mask on, still has the ghillie suit on, kind of sits down. Take a seat.
Sit down.
So, like to talk? Information is valuable. You've been on the mainland for this whole duration?
Yep.
it will take a. How long was it on Little Barrier? Give it about a month-ish. We were on Little Barrier.
Intuition.
You see him slowly reaching for a file. You can't really see much of his face. You can see his eyes just slightly. Opens up a file, starts kind of flicking through.
We lost a lot of people on that island.
Do you have a rough estimation on the dates?
1 to 2 months after the apocalypse.
About that.
How far away from us is he sitting?
About double this distance.
Okay.
While you were on this island, did any of you come into close contact with the infected?
None that are still alive. Oh, is that right?
Yeah, no, I did it.
No, I just mean, did I say that right? Meaning none of us.
That are still alive.
Yeah.
There was an operation that was... There was an operation that took an effect on Little Barrier. Around the same time. Same duration.
That's what killed our people.
Why did you go there? Why did you go to the little barrier then?
I didn't go anywhere. The report that I have states that there was a large explosion detected. Airborne unit responded. There was a large infection present.
You didn't.
You didn't.
That was me
Jake.
and
Yeah.
Jonah.
Yep.
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 Dolphins.
There was a large explosion detected. Our airborne unit responded. There was a large infected presence witnessed.
We sorted it.
Mm-hmm.
They were in the water. We took them out before they got there.
Countermeasures were taken. I am sorry if you lost people. What you have to understand, what we have here, what we have been able to create, has cost much. The infection being so close was a liability, a danger. The mainland was compromised. Little Barrier had been compromised.
You guys saw us. You saw people.
The report also indicates that they saw dead. Yes, there were people. I can't speak on their behalf. But at the time, those commanding the airborne unit did what they deemed necessary to keep the quarantine. This complicates things.
What? We wouldn't say shit.
See, that's the thing, I can't guarantee that. There's one thing that I've learned about people, is that people harbor grudges for a very long time. I can apologize till the sun rises, and that's still not be enough for some of you. What was done to protect humanity.
Was done. Was just murder.
Yeah, there's nothing we can do about that now.
I've heard similar justifications for
I just wanted to
other
admit it.
measures.
That's all I want. I got a wife. I got a kid on the way. I don't have time to hold grudges. I just want it admitted.
Like I said, I cannot speak on their behalf. There was a large presence detected a vessel that was lost to the infection. Many of the survivors, those touched by the infection, they were tracked to your island. The explosion drew us, and actions were taken. Again, as I said, I can apologize until the sun rises.
What drew you to us now? What took you to Goat Island?
To Goat Island? We received a signal. Call for aid. We responded. We did not anticipate there to be hostiles, people at your location. Our intended location was late.
Skulk, was that you? So you radioed to help the people who blew us up last time.
I told you I only found them once they got here.
Closes the file. Places it to the side.
Let's be fair, we were about to call in the morning.
This is a complication. Now, if you can provide me names, if you can provide me faces of those among your community that did not lose anyone, was not on Little Barrier Island, you can inform me of those people. They will be allowed free passage, safe passage into the quarantine. Should they pass and be cleared. But I can't take a chance. We cannot take a chance.
Is that an either or thing or an and thing? Is that no little better and no one lost, or no little better or no one lost on there?
Both. We can't take a chance with grudges.
I know that feeling. Dick.
I wish it could be otherwise, but it's a complication I didn't anticipate. To the best of our knowledge, on the record, those that were there were deceased.
What's going to happen to the rest of them?
They'll be taken to safety, to security. They'll be given a chance to live a peaceful life.
Where's this security?
The main islands. We're not quite on Great Barrier yet. We're on an outer island.
So what's the difference between
Step.
what's the difference between going to quarantine and going into security?
Quarantine will make sure that they are cleared, their blood will be tested to make sure that they haven't, or that they're not harboring any strains of the infection.
And security?
Security will keep them safe. The island has been cleared of the infection. There is no quarantine is 100%.
So in either case, we will be going to the island.
Those of you who were present at Great Barrier, and this is, again, I'm overstepping. This is trust that I can't give out, but I will not turn away people who perhaps deserve a second chance. If you can give me honesty, if you can give me a list of people who aren't affected, who cannot potentially harbour. We're not in the business of insurrections or revenge. We're in the business of survival.
So what happens to those that get turned away?
We'll take you back to the mainland.
Just put back where they were and left alone?
The supplies at your home could be useful, could help those others. But if you require them, we will not take them from you. That fuel we could use. Look, I kind of reaches up towards his gas mask. I am truly sorry that you lost people, and that this is something that still hangs above you. And I wish there was more I could do for those of you who cannot stay. So I ask again, will you be willing to provide me a list of names?
Yeah, there's not many.
Less than a handful.
How many of you?
Who weren't on Great Barrier.
Couple.
Yep. 2.
7.
Red light there, mate. Oh wait, yeah, your people.
Yeah.
I completely forgot about them.
them.
I was only thinking about 2 others. Is it 8 including the baby?
Yeah. No, baby was there.
In the spirit
previous life.
in the spirit of
Was flipped.
honesty and trust and whatever, I was not on Great Barrier, Low Barrier, or whatever. But I'm not a fan of
Measures for the greater good?
well, yes, that. We've been to a form of quarantine. Don't know if you've heard of it. It's called Eden. It's in Auckland.
Or at least was.
I'm not a fan of it. I would rather take my chances by myself. So if it is a choice of whether we get to go in or not, I would rather not.
Looking at some of you, I see that you are missing parts of yourselves.
Might join Optimus in this. Gone for a while.
Why did you lose those parts of you?
Infected animals, twice.
You?
Undead person.
People.
People and safe harbour.
Safe.
2 of you. You were infected. Part of you was infected.
That's why they got amputated.
That's what you did. What did you do? You cut off a limb to save the body.
I didn't, but it was swiftly done for me.
And you're here today because of that. Sometimes
sometimes a limb needs to be cut off.
And that's totally fair. I prefer to be the part of this that gets cut off. I've had terrible, terrible experiences being in this safe harbor before. Similar situation. I'm not going back in there. I've been completely honest with you.
You certainly seem to have a fair amount of setup here for your 100% safe harbor.
This isn't.
No, not here.
This isn't.
I mean, if you guaranteeing 100% safe harbor and have seen and heard about the resources at your disposal, would sometimes trying to save the limb not be more beneficial than leaving it to die, if you, or at the very least, giving it more of a chance than it had before?
This infection is a mysterious thing.
There's no reason people have to fight it alone.
In the manner of life.
We have seen that.
If we go back, what assistance can we provide you out there that will help you, make you provide us with some resources and some intelligence?
Exactly.
Or maybe the occasional backup like you just did?
I was about to say the same thing.
You don't necessarily have to be left to die.
All the pros, none of the cons.
Mate, there is no better place for Ottawa than here.
She's staying. They're all staying. But if we're going back, we could definitely use some backup.
Doesn't have to end there. I mean, as you said, until the risk seems to be on this quarantine. If we're not here, then
I brought you in here to ask you to gain information about the outside world. You have lived in it for 5 years already. You know things that some of us do not know. Any information you're able to provide us with will be helpful. Will help us.
Well, give me a pen and paper.
But not be rewarded.
We might be able to assist you, but
how well do you understand? You probably understand the infection quite well.
we have an understanding.
And these new ones?
Here ones.
The infection has evolved.
Or it's what it was intended for.
Elaborate.
Once again, pen and paper, mate. I'll write it all down.
Just out of game stuff, we still have those dogs' bodies, right?
Yes, you do.
When you drop us off, we can show you.
I dissected some of them.
Very well. He takes a step around the table, puts a fresh pad of paper and a pen on the table, walks back around and sits down.
I start writing.
Safe harbor. Is this a now or never opportunity?
There may be opportunity in the future. If you can prove to me that resentment, anger that you have towards us.
I wasn't there, but I have unfinished business I'm not ready to set behind.
It will be safe harbor for some of you. I cannot guarantee you the future. But with goodwill, maybe.
We don't always have information from the mainland. So a communication line will be helpful, especially after recent advancements.
Speaking of,
Would information flow both ways?
Potentially, some information is classified.
Is
the
anything really classified after all this?
Some needs to be for the safety of others.
the event at Marsden. Obviously, you were all there afterwards. You had some tie there in the first place.
We've recovered what we can.
Do you have connections to the people involved?
Do you?
Not connections by the implication of your voice, but we've had altercations with them before, and they have taken
Here where
people,
my grudge lies.
taken people that we want back. They provided a, as my friend here likes to say, sanctuary in the early days, and I kind of raised my voice up a little bit, and you see the marking on my head. We managed to break free moments after we headed straight for the little barrier.
They were the ones in the caravan from earlier this evening.
Infected aren't the only evil out there.
Speaking of, I hand him a piece of paper. I say it's a brief overview of the new infected. If I can speak to a doctor, I'll be more informative.
That won't be possible here. Will be considered.
Sort of look over at Jake and
Starts pulling back the ghost front.
Ooh.
Lifts up the gas mask off his face. You see, like, the thread that's kind of band around. He has quite like a tanned complexion, and he's young. Seems like he might be younger than some of you.
the people that go with you. Obviously, there's no visiting hours. Is contact allowed between the two groups once we split?
It's advised that there isn't. We don't usually have communication with the outside. The good news is the mainland is still a danger. There is a good chance that we won't be able to communicate with anyone that stays. It's a decision that I don't want you to take lightly.
Yeah, I'm just, looking at Jake.
As long as my family's safe.
They will be. I can guarantee you that.
How do we know they're safe, though, if we can never hear from them again?
When has a military junta ever lied to anyone?
What could help is we know from talking with the people at Marsden before that happened that some of their people came here from quarantine. Maybe just some kind of handwritten note from, or photographs of them, just proof that people that come here in the long term are still here and fine in the long term. I know, Jake, you want the best for them, but without proof that they can offer everything they say they can offer, do you really want to leave them behind and never see or talk to them again?
What if we can do what you say, we can confirm it. If it's all good, once a year I'd like to come out to an island, stay there for a little bit, you can test my blood, and see my family. Neutral ground.
With a show of good faith, that might be possible, but I cannot offer you a guarantee. We keep a separation from the mainland for a reason. Lives here are precious. For many of us, we will never be the same. I'm sure it's the same for you. But there is a way of life that can be preserved.
Which is nice if it's true. But so far all we have is...
I don't blame you
words.
for being mistrusting. You have spent 5 years out.
If you can get us some, we can talk to someone you took from the Russians.
I can't authorize that.
But I don't know what you guys think, but this is very elaborate if it's not true.
I'm willing to put my trust in a man.
Well, I mean, I don't doubt they have the facilities they have. It's just what happens inside that is...
Sorry. Trust issues.
Yeah.
I'm sure of it. That's exactly why we don't allow communication with the outside. For that precise reason. People can come here with the best intentions. They can sway others inside.
What kind of freedoms do they get on the inside?
The freedoms that we had before. They have a life that we had before.
Shit, I'd take that.
Again, it's just words.
No, it's
Very good, very good words that I'd hope
We
to
don't
be
exactly
true.
have a brochure.
Yeah.
But what's the alternative, though? We know what that is.
Usually,
Yes.
most of the time,
But if their choice is slavery or worse, it could be as great as they say it is. It could not be.
That was the promise Eden made.
We haven't taken anyone in for a good long while. And with reason. 5 years can do a lot to change things.
Look, guys, this is, if you two, obviously directing that towards the two who can stay, you guys are coming with us. For the people who stay, it's not up to us, it's up to the people who are going to stay.
It's completely your choice. It's your family.
Yeah.
It's their choice. We're just giving you a heads up that sometimes it's too good to be true.
The way I see it is if we get them to stay and they allow us to leave and we go back and everything is fine, we're left to our own devices, we potentially continue our relationship by some other means, then that's faith enough, is it not?
Yeah, but it takes time to find that out. It's not until after everyone's gone.
So even the people who were on Great Barrier Island, Little Barrier Island, can stay here, just not in quarantine.
No, they didn't.
No.
And we go back.
We can't take any chances with anyone that has a
they go into security.
previous existence.
No, they mean those
No.
who weren't there. So if you were on Great Barrier or have direct ties to people who were on Great Barrier, effectively.
Yeah.
You'd
So
be sent back
little-
to the.
yeah.
You'd be sent back to the mainland.
Oh, okay. I thought because they were went into security, if they don't, and people who didn't, they went.
It was the weird way that he said it.
Yes.
Yeah.
But what if we really, really want to stay?
And you didn't care about anyone on the
Unfortunately,
area.
we can't take a chance. We just can't take a chance. I appreciate you being honest with us about your ties to the island, but we can't take a chance with what I've already seen in you as a grudge, for lack of a better word.
So maybe. I'm peachy keen with the situation. Tickety boo.
There's no doubt that I'm saying they definitely have resources and weapons and extensive quarantines, but yeah.
And I'm missing an arm and a leg. I'm in no mood to go back to the mainland.
But yeah, just because they have that doesn't mean our people that go in are going to live the same lives that the soldiers are living.
That is
They could be servants, they could be test subjects for figuring out cures or new bioweapons, they could be all
That's
manner
a
of things.
gamble I'll take. In 5 years, I
will-
lost 2
He walks
limbs.
over and puts a piece of paper on the table and a pencil.
Ultimately,
it is
it's
their
not
choice to
our
make.
decision. It's up to Jake and his new family.
Yeah.
Puts back on his gas mask.
Write down
Hood
their
goes back
names.
up.
Including,
Your
what's his
choice.
name? No, I don't include Hogan. I want to talk to Hogan first, but yeah.
I
So I write down my
advise
family's
you
name.
not to
There's one
fabricate.
more, but I want to talk to him first.
Alright. I advise you not to fabricate. I trust that you won't. We are taking a chance on this.
I write down Hogan's name then. Screw it. I'm going to risk his life.
We're being honest.
You are. Harder to read again with the gas mask back on.
We just tack our names on the bottom as a maybe later if things go well. Just so we're on the list.
Well,
He said if he's... Look, we know what's going to happen.
assuming regardless, we're going to be in communication still. Hopefully to some, at least to some degree. At least with this outside security, not necessarily the quarantine as you call it.
Yes, you will be able to communicate with us.
We could be of use to each other even though we can't.
I hope so. Having you walk away from this place knowing what is out here is a danger to us.
That's exactly what they said.
but it's the truth.
Yeah.
It's the same thing if someone came into our home.
It's
and we
also
let
a
our-
good way to keep secrets and keep people in line. It's not wrong, but it can go both ways.
Yeah.
It's a slippery slope.
We're not exactly angels ourselves.
The last person that said that was stringing people up by their wrists and setting them on fire.
Yeah.
There's a lot of terrible people out there, but there's also got to be good people out there.
You'd
I
hope
mean-
so.
Amen.
I mean, would you consider like us good people? Do you want people to trust us?
Yeah. Because
There's got to be a
proven to
line.
me
There's got to be a line somewhere. That decision of trust has to happen at some point.
Yeah.
that's completely fair. It's just my opinion that you're guilty until proven innocent. It's
As he said,
being
there's
completely
a reason they keep themselves quiet. It's,
Security.
yeah.
All the bad stuff that's happened to us has been because we've been found out. Our location has been compromised. Someone's said something.
Yeah, but with how things are now, you can't assume people are trustworthy. They have to earn.
I'm not saying.
No,
So
I'm
I'm
not.
just saying at some point we have to have faith. You gotta have to take a leap at some point, and I think this is a leap worth taking.
That's fair enough.
Alright.
You've added all the names you wish.
Yep.
All right. He walks across, takes a list from you.
I wish this could have gone another way. If you'd follow me back.
I ask, can I have a moment in private?
Allow it. If you take a step outside, there'll be others waiting for you.
Hopefully, it's still not how good things could have gone, but still doesn't end up going badly. And all of us get good things out of this, hopefully.
You all take a step outside the tent. There are 2 soldiers waiting outside that
Can I
escort you
talk to
back.
Skulk alone first?
That escort you back
stay in
towards
the
the main
tent
tent. Skulk has stayed in the tent with
Major
the
Gilly.
yeah.
Major.
So you can try to stay if you wish, Jake.
Just let me talk with my friend here.
I'd rather not.
Speak in the other tent when he returns. Thank you.
Alright.
Once Jake steps out, the others 2 that are there escort you back towards the main tent, where you are brought back in and you sit with the others for a time, who are still kind of sitting anxiously, kind of talking quietly among themselves. Skulk, you're alone with this man.
Just for a while.
Gas mask back on.
Ah,
Shirt off.
everything else off.
And you can
Yeah.
see when he's in here, he is kind of reaching in just like underneath his ghillie suit. You can see like there is a strap that's running down the side of him.
Is there like other soldiers? I'm guessing there's like just two soldiers.
No, he is by himself in here. It's
Okay,
just
then
the
I
2 of
keep-
you now.
I keep my hand
Mm-hmm.
where that it can be seen. I've been in communication with a comm controller called Kate for the past 5 years.
You have your rat.
What happened to her?
She's been relocated.
Is she still on inside quarantine?
No, she is south.
Is she off the island?
She is off the island. The resource line was disrupted, and she and a small team have been sent to re-establish that.
Fair enough.
She's well. I believe you talked briefly about a location. Fuel fields off Taranaki.
Yes. All fields off there was going to be another plan for all country. It's a lot more I can tell you if I stay here. But don't go onto that island. I'm fine on this one.
I'm sure of it. We will be in communication.
And 3 blokes out there really stick a knife in my back as soon as we get on mainland.
No, it's going to be in your front.
Like this underneath a tent.
Like I said, I wish things could be different. I didn't know the previous connection. It complicates things a great deal.
You can drop me off somewhere else. Carmandel.
If it's requested, we can attempt to do such.
No, even drop me in or I'm fine with that.
We'll be able to talk. I recommend that you return with the others. He follows you out the tent, zips it up behind
before
him,
he does,
after
I do-
grabbing the light.
Sorry.
Oh, yeah.
As I do just say, if there is a doctor around, I do would want to talk to him about the new infected. They are a very different breed and better than what I can give on paper, I can give in person.
We don't have a doctor on this island. There is another before the main, where the others will be taken to. If we can establish communication, we will be able to transfer information, knowledge.
Skype you. I'm just kidding.
We'll have weekly Zoom meetings. Right.
If you would. And just kind of motions back towards the main tent. The two of them enter again. He takes out the list of names and starts reading off them. Jake, I'm assuming all the names on there are all of Aroha's family and Hogan?
Right, and Hogan, yeah.
Yeah. Hogan, Poe, Liz, Aroha, Willie, will you please stand and follow me?
Can I talk to them first?
We'll allow you a moment.
Oh, suck a gas mask.
Aroha kind of like struggles to stand up. What's happening?
They're going to take you guys to safety. We can't go.
Why the
We've got
fuck?
history that they don't trust.
What history?
What went down on Little Barrier.
These are the same people.
It was a different time back then. Look, you will be safe here. Our child will be safe here. Your family will be safe.
And what about you? You gonna be safe?
I sort of show my hands and both my legs like I'm always safe.
Lucky shit.
Stuck behind the screen.
Look, it might be forever, it might not be forever, but as long as you guys are safe. You can take little Arthur, Honey, Lawton, or Mary, what's another oldie name? Moana, Lawton, if it's a girl. I'm trying to think of names on the spot, it's very hard. Yeah, so was it either Arthur, Honey, Lawton, or Mary, Moana, Lawton? You can raise them here in safety.
Why do you think this place is good? Or better?
It's gonna be safe. There's no infected there. They made sure. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen in the future. I'm trying to work it out that I can see you guys again, but we're going to have to work for it.
I'll make that happen. If I'd make it happen. I love and I hate this at the same time. And she motions to her stomach.
That's the best thing. It's what this world needs. Needs more new life.
More of you? I don't say that.
See, luckily most of my weapons are my best weapons are my fucking hands. So
You were supposed to put those in the box.
you guys be safe. You guys work here. Be as useful as you can. Keep the peace.
You think they got schools?
Sorry?
You think they got schools?
I don't know. I hope so. If they're trying to raise a future there, I bet there would be.
I'm gonna make it happen. I'm gonna get you here.
We'll be alright. I'll see you again.
Yeah. I won't say goodbye. Because it's not.
I'll see you soon.
Sounds better. She just kind of pulls you in. You both just spend a moment standing together. Everyone else is rather confused and doesn't seem to quite know exactly what's going on.
There are soldiers in here with us, right?
Yes, there are.
I stand near them.
Okay.
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 I'll explain things to Jen quietly.
Okay.
Well, after I came back, just
Yeah. She just kind of nods and starts to take it all in. And eventually, the others are taken out the tent. There are goodbyes, there are handshakes. And then Poe, Liz, Aroha, Willie, Hogan are no longer in the tent with you.
there's been an alternate future timeline kicks in and you shout, "Fire in the hole!" Sorry.
You're just left in here for a while. The others leave, the door is kind of zipped up. Light is left inside, hooked up on the top.
Still on guard, I see.
So what now? We go back?
Chairs in here?
Yeah, you're all sitting on plastic chairs. Yeah, they're in kind of like a big circle.
We go home.
I miss my garden already.
More time passes inside of here. Then eventually, you are escorted out of this tent, back down the shore, back onto the boat, which has re-emerged after a time. You waited in there for probably around about half an hour, give or take. No sign of the others. You're marched back down by that string of lights, people lighting and guiding the way. You climb back into the boat, still all with your masks on. This time they don't put you in plastic sheets. You all climb on, sit down. The boat starts up. And it starts heading away from these islands, back towards the mainland.
A really important question.
What's that question? Did I leave the oven on?
No, those signatures they said they detected. The horde.
As the boat races on throughout the night,
You wanted to bring up the build barrier.
that is where we are going to be ending this chapter. Misty Frequencies. Thank you all for joining us. Thank you, all of you, for making it through another chapter in some way, some form, some fashion, finding a path which I never anticipate that you'll end up on, but that's part of the fun. We'll see. In the next, please do join us for the next chapter, which will be the season finale of season 3. Already! Please do join us then. I have been Rycon. You have all been awesome. And until next time, stay breathing.